Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and tonight I just got back from watching Thanksgiving, Eli Roth's new slasher horror film, and yeah, this is absolutely everything I wanted it to be. It is your classic, it feels like an 80s movie, you know, just as campy and cheesy as those 80s slashers were, and it's just, you know, back in the day, after Halloween came out and Friday the 13th came out, every slasher was trying to have like a holiday theme, and this feels like it just fits right in there with the Thanksgiving thing, you know. And they did it. They totally went for it. It was all very intentional. Some of the lines they have in this, there will be no leftovers this year. We got to figure out who's doing this. We're all going to be 50% off or something. It's pretty great stuff going on in this movie, and I think a lot of horror fans who are really into the cheesy slashers are gonna love this one. I feel like they just did such a great job, like paying homage to all of that. I think if you're a modern, maybe a younger person, and you go into this movie and you don't understand what it's trying to be, maybe you'll think it's like really cringy or something, but that's kind of part of it, you know. So anyways, I had a really great time with this one, and of course, like with any slasher, this one's got a little bit of a murder mystery element to it. The whole movie you're trying to guess who it is, and 10 million red herrings, characters acting really suspicious for no reason because it wasn't that person, so I don't know why they were being so suspicious then. Just overall, I will get into the specifics in a moment, but if you want to stop the video here, I just want to say it's absolutely your cheesy horror film. It's got all the greatness of it, and I can see myself watching this thing just in future Thanksgiving times. Like, I can absolutely see myself like, you know what, Thanksgiving doesn't really have a movie, like Halloween has a million movies, Christmas has a million movies, Thanksgiving doesn't have really a movie that goes with it, you know what I mean? Like, think about like what's a classic Thanksgiving movie. I know there's probably some, and I know that there have been like Thanksgiving horror movies in the past, like I think the old one was Thanksgiving or something, but I feel like this is probably gonna end up being like, well, there is that one movie called Thanksgiving, and you know what, if you want like a movie it's a cheesy horror but it is about Thanksgiving, here you go. It's a Thanksgiving slasher film. So yeah, if anything, it's definitely filling in that like kind of a much needed holiday movie slot of like, what's even a Thanksgiving? Yeah, I don't know. Here you go. All right, so let's get into specifics now, and that means like we're going to talk about who the killer is and what makes sense and why they did what. And so if you don't want to know, which I suggest you don't know going in, like go and watch the movie, pause this video, close this out, go watch the movie first. It's totally worth it, and then come back and we're gonna talk about who did it and what's going on, and some of my issues I might have with like the logic of it, but also it's a campy, cheesy horror movie, so I'm overthinking this. I know I am. Anyways, so the big reveal. Here we go. The big reveal is that at the very beginning of this movie, there was, like we've seen kind of in Krampus and other movies before, there was a horrifying Black Friday event, and a couple people died, and the reveal is that the killer here is going after specific people, the people who opened the store that caused this commotion. They opened the store on Thanksgiving Day instead of on Black Friday, which has happened in real life and has been highly criticized by a lot of people, right? And also targeting the teenagers who these are like the teenagers were the kids of the owners of the store, and so they were allowed to get inside the employee entrance, and that caused this big commotion because other people, you know, like the the hundreds and hundreds of people outside the store were like, why do they get to go in, you know, like caused this big commotion. So it made already an unruly event even crazier. So when the doors finally got broken open, everything went chaotic, several people died. And thus we have our red herrings of like, well, maybe this person did it for revenge, or maybe this person did it, you know, because several people died and it could have been anything, right? So the big reveal is that it is the sheriff. The sheriff is the one who's been doing it this whole time, and it turns out that the sheriff was having an affair with this married lady, and she was even carrying his baby, and she dies at the beginning in this Black Friday event. And so he is targeting the teenagers who went into the store early, the people who kept the store open. He's targeting all of them in a very theatrical way. And that's one of my things I got to talk about here. I think this is really one of my only issues with the film, is that like his motivations, right, make total sense. Like why he's targeting these specific people. And you know, like, yeah, get revenge for this lady that you loved, and these people opened the stores and they caused all this chaos. Like, I get it, right? But somewhere in there it went from I'm gonna put on a mask and kill these people for revenge, and somehow it transformed into not only that, it's gonna be a pilgrim costume. I'm gonna set a Thanksgiving, like a classic Thanksgiving Day table with plates and decorations, and it's gonna be real nice, and it's gonna look like an old school painting. And I'm gonna take all of their bodies, and I'm gonna display their bodies in the different seats around the Thanksgiving Day table, and they're gonna have like little name tags, right? And not only that, not only like all this crazy theatrical effort. Again, he just wants revenge. I don't know why. I guess my main thing is, why isn't he just killing people? Like, what's with the whole Thanksgiving Day table and the dinner? And he literally cooks one woman in an oven and then goes through the effort to make her, you know, appear like a turkey, like have, you know, her hands and legs are gone and she looks like a turkey on the table, and he's actually going to try to carve her up now that she's cooked like a turkey. And my thing is like, okay, so you're a sheriff and you lost this lady at a Black Friday sales event, but Thanksgiving Day dinner table, this is the theme you're going with. And I understand it happened on Thanksgiving Day, I get that, and I've had this discussion tonight already with other people. My thing is, here's the example I used. Okay, so let's say it's New Year's Eve. It's early in the day, and we decide, you know, let's go to the beach. We have the day off. Let's go to the beach. Let's hang out. It's New Year's Eve. We'll do all the New Year's Eve stuff later in the day. And something bad happens at the beach, and now someone wants revenge for that bad thing that happened at the beach. And the theme you go with is New Year's Eve stuff. You go with Uncle Sam and fireworks and do all this stuff. And my question would be, why don't you do beach stuff? It happened at the beach, you know, like all the stuff you do should all be beach themed, you know, dress up like a shark, you know, attack people in the water, attack people with sun umbrellas, you know, stuff people in those little igloo coolers or something, right? Like beach things, you know. So I guess that is my one thing about like how we get to this. Like, he dresses as a pilgrim and sets a Thanksgiving Day table, and everyone's got like a body, and they all have like their places at the table, and he made like a human turkey. Like, that has nothing to do with the Black Friday sales event. Like, none of that was present at that moment, you know. So I guess that's my thing, is like, I would have made him the Black Friday killer. Like, this movie would have been called Black Friday, and I would have had it to where like, oh, he's killed a bunch of people in a store, and he trapped them there on Black Friday to get revenge for this thing that happened on Black Friday. at a store, you know. So I don't know. I know I'm overthinking it. It's just supposed to be like a funny, cheesy theme to make it Thanksgiving-y. I get it. I'm just saying, like, if your motivations, you know, if you're gonna have your guy dress up like this, and this is gonna be what he does when he's the serial killer, then make his motivations more linked to that. You know, maybe he was in a play about pilgrims and something went wrong, and so he's wearing that costume. Or maybe, you know, he was cooking dinner, Thanksgiving Day dinner, and someone did something wrong and there was a fire, you know, like, he wants to recreate the dinner, you know, like something like that. Like, that makes a lot more sense than these two kind of unrelated things, even though they happen on the same day. I don't know. I'm nitpicking. I know I'm nitpicking. In any case, this movie has a lot of brutal kills. It was really fun. It was really cool. I was really impressed by some of the graphicness of it. Of course, it's Eli Roth, so I should have known that that's, you know, it was gonna get pretty extreme at parts. I think there is one other thing that was kind of noticeable, and I don't know if this was like a reshoot or if they just took out a scene altogether, because it was kind of a weird time jump that happens right before the third act, or even like the very fourth act. I don't know, the like final scene of the movie, really. So the main girl has escaped through the woods. She jumps over a fence, the serial killer's right behind her, and he like just barely misses her. So she's running through the woods, she's like limping along, and then the screen kind of cuts to black for a second, and then it cuts back and we're back to her, you know. So we didn't go to like a different scene, we're back to her, and she's limping along the forest, and now she sees the sheriff in the middle of this road, and he's knocked unconscious, and she goes inside because she thinks she sees the pilgrim over there, and it's like, oh look, it's my ex-boyfriend, he's in there. And then, you know, the sheriff is now awake, and he's like, whoa, I'll stop him. And, you know, of course he tries to stop him off screen, and it turns out that the sheriff is actually the killer, right? My thing is, the killer was right behind her when she went into this forest, and when she came out, the killer changed back into his sheriff's uniform, seemingly had this kid set up to take the fall for everything, and then got knocked unconscious by him off screen, and that's why he was in the middle of the street. And they very quickly tell you all this through a couple lines of dialogue, but like, it was like a weird time jump. I'm like, wait, hold on, is there a scene missing? Did the movie like cut ahead by 10 minutes? It feels like something was there, like we were supposed to see him getting attacked by that kid or something, you know. So I don't know, that is like the one thing in this movie where I'm like, wait, what? What happened? Because like, otherwise the editing's fine. It was just like this one really strange thing, and I'm wondering what this deleted scene must be, because to me it was very noticeable how, you know, it just kind of cut to the same, you know, whenever you see a scene cut away and then when it comes back and then it's still in the same place, it didn't like move to a different scene or move to a different character or anything like that. That tells me that they just like, they sliced something and they didn't have anything else to put there, so they just like continued on with the scene and just let it cut to black for a second, you know. So I don't know, that is one thing I would say is like kind of weird about this movie, is that like I don't know if they redid the third act. Maybe someone else was supposed to be the killer and they changed their minds, or what exactly happened there. But yeah, I mean, the second you see the sheriff in the middle of the street, I'm like, okay, so it's him then. Because, you know, if you don't see something happen on screen and you just hear someone say, oh, I was attacked, you didn't see it happen, but I was totally attacked, then, you know, you're probably like, okay, this person's probably lying. This is the killer then. And that's basically what ended up happening. Anyways, yeah, other than that and my kind of questioning of why he is doing the Thanksgiving dinner thing, I really enjoyed this movie. I know I'm nitpicking and I'm complaining about little tiny things, but overall this was a really fun, cheesy slasher. It totally works for as like, hey, I didn't really have a Thanksgiving movie that I watch. You know, I think I just watched Lord of the Rings. That doesn't really have anything to do with Thanksgiving, but you know, like what else do we got? And I think this one is totally worth it. You know, it's a fun little slasher movie. I'm sure it's gonna get talked about in the horror community of like, oh yeah, this is kind of just a throwback. You know, they don't make movies like this anymore. So yeah, I don't know, I had a fun time. That's Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. If anything, you're gonna get some brutal kills. Oh, one last thing, and this was kind of strange, and you know, I can only surmise that this was done for the trailers because okay, so the other thing is that the killer, who again is this sheriff who's like in his 40s, you know, he's not a young guy. You know, for some reason the killer is tagging these teenagers on Instagram, showing them pictures of this dinner that he's setting up, and this was all over the trailers. And that's kind of why I suspect that, like, was this just for the trailers? It might have been. This might have just been like a marketing gimmick for the trailers, because he's like tagging them on Instagram, and then later on he's like live streaming his entire like theatrical dinner thing that he's doing. And I don't know, it doesn't really fit with this. Again, his whole motivation is based on this Black Friday event. It had nothing to do with social media. It had nothing to do with the Thanksgiving dinner itself. So to have, like, you know, now he's streaming everything and posting stuff to Instagram, and you know, that has me questioning things. That, again, this is kind of why I'm thinking like something was different about the third act. Maybe it was a different character, because yeah, I watched this and I'm like, the sheriff, the older guy, he's not like old, but you know, he's not, definitely not a young person who would be posting things like this on Instagram as some kind of like, you know, some kind of like thematic vengeance or something. Like, no, that doesn't really like fit, you know. And the excuse is that, oh, well, one of the kids posted stuff to YouTube, and so that's why he's streaming everything on Instagram, I guess. I don't know. It didn't really fit. It feels like there was this was from some earlier draft of the script where maybe the killer was someone else, because it definitely didn't feel like it fit this person it ended up being. So I don't know, I think that's my other thing, along with questioning why he's choosing this much theatrical of a theme going on. Also, what's with the social media? Why stream everything? You're not like a, you know what I mean? Like you're not like one of the young guys in Scream 4 who's like, oh, I'm gonna stream everything I do. That's the future, you know? Like you're like a what, a 46-year-old sheriff, you know? Like what are you doing? Just streaming things? Stop it. This is weird. Anyways, but yeah, that's Thanksgiving. Let me know what you guys think about Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. Do you understand kind of what it was going for, this campy slasher thing? Did you think it was stupid but not on purpose, or did you think it was stupid in just the right way? Because I had a great time. Some of those lines were hilarious. People were just laughing at like, we're gonna find ourselves 50% off. Oh god. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.